Hello and welcome to the Downsize. My name is Laraine Durham, and this is a channel where we talk about all things GLP-1 weight loss related. This is our series called the Downsized Dish, where we talk to people who are on a GLP-1 weight loss journey using drugs like Mounjaro, Zepbound, Ozempic, Wegovy, semaglutide, and Tirzepatide. I've lost over 50 pounds using compounded Tirzepatide, and during this weekly series, we try to learn something from other people who are on this journey and see what tips and tricks that they can share with us about their weight loss. Before we get started, I'd like to tell everybody that I'm not a doctor. This is just for entertainment purposes only, based on personal experiences. Before starting any weight loss journey, please check with your doctor or healthcare professional. We hope you will like and subscribe to The Downsized. Make sure you click that notification bell so you get a notification whenever we post a video. We post videos just about every day, so we hope you'll follow along with us as we do videos about news, about our weekly weigh-in, the Downsized Dish, and other topics about GLP-1 weight loss. All right. Well, today we welcome Judy to the Downsized Dish. Welcome, Judy.
Hi.
Hi, Judy. Judy, tell us about yourself and where you're from.
So I'm Judy. I am 63 years old. Actually nearly 64. I have five children. I have 5/8 children. I have 10/12 grandchildren.
Oh,
And I live in a place called Ipswich in Suffolk in England. I'm originally a Londoner. I've only been here 9 years. If you hear the Cockney accent come out, you know.
I do hear an accent. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
A
Cool.
Londoner.
Well, tell us about your weight loss journey, Judy. How much have you lost?
In this part of my journey, I have lost what you would say about 27.5 pounds. Um, for me, it's like, again, I'm not referred to for things I like to say, sort of 10/12 kilos, which is around just under 2 stone for the rest of the English people that don't do the stone thing. Yeah.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So, well, tell us about your how you came to find the GLP-1s.
Okay. I mean, if I talk about my whole journey, but I'll start with the GLP-1 side. My
Okay.
sister my sister's diabetic. Um, and she moved up here when her partner died in lockdown. She didn't die of COVID, but she had lockdown and she was quite slim then. She got
Mhm,
bigger because of our eating habits.
mhm,
And her diabetes became uncontrolled. And they actually put her on Trulicity
mhm,
about 2.5, 3 years ago, something like that. And she was doing a trial and that, and then there was a problem, and so they put her on Mounjaro. And she went on the Mounjaro 2 years ago around the time when the king got crowned. And that time I said to myself, you know what, I've got to do something about it myself as well. But so I do this thing where I imitate people like that who are on a weight loss journey. And I say to my mind, I can only eat this. This is going to happen, blah, 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 blah. And I managed to lose about 7 or 8 kilos then. Uh, could I keep it up? No. I mean, it was great. I did it in the summer. There was a reason. It was fantastic. So the autumn, it was fantastic. Christmas came, the clients came. I said, here, have a bottle of drink. And there's this liqueur. I don't know if you have it in America, but this is liqueur called Bailey's, which is an Irish liqueur, cream
oh, yeah.
liqueur. And it's just delightful. And customers were bringing me that. And our local supermarket was doing it as a discount. And every
Mhm.
night when I finished my work, I thought, oh, I'll have a little time. Just a little time.
Just a
What
little
that bottle? Just have a little bit. You know, and I was doing that. And then
Yeah.
it went way back up at Christmas, crashed back down for the March. And then this Christmas, I said to everyone, don't buy me drink. So, you know, buy things for the dogs. They bought me chocolates instead. So it was a little tiny chocolate every night, just one or maybe two. You know, Christmas went by, way up again. And then um, my blood pressure has been it's been climbing steadily just after lockdown. And the doctors, all they just do is, well, you're from Caribbean heritage, this is what you do, blah, 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 blah. Just keeps feeding me more and more blood pressure pills. And I just got heavier and heavier. And I just got to the point where I literally sat down and went, you know what? I'm not doing this anymore. I saw an advert on the TV. No, I went to the doctor and I inquired with them, with the medication that I'm on, if I was to go on Mounjaro, would there be a problem? And she said no. And so I did some research, but I saw this commercial on the TV and I just went, you know what, I'm just going to do it. Signed up, took that horrible picture, and that was that. That was
So
the end of March.
yeah.
That was a
So
horrible picture.
so in the UK where you live, you have to take a picture of yourself and send it to the pharmacist in order to
Yeah.
be approved for Mounjaro? Is
Well,
that how it works?
there are ways you can do it, because obviously we have the NHS. So the NHS pays for a lot of our treatments and stuff. And as I'm over 60, I actually get free prescription. However,
Okay.
because Mounjaro, while it's been approved, they're going to, number one, be really selective who they give it to. At the moment, they're concentrating on diabetic only. They're
Sure.
going to be, at the end of this month, they're going to be introducing it to a few more people, but they're going to make the channel to get there a bit harder. So what people like me have had to do to pay for it out of pocket is to approach some pharmacies. There's some supermarket pharmacies that are doing it. There are dedicated companies out there doing it. They're all online, and in order to get these things online, they need to just make sure that you're telling the truth, you're not anorexic or something like that. So they want a picture. They sometimes want to see the scales, to confirm. Yeah, it goes the whole thing to show that you're that way. And I just I don't care. Take a picture. There you go.
And I guess you got approved with that picture, huh, Judy?
Yeah, it took a long
Yeah.
time with this particular company, but yeah, I got approved.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. So, how's it been going? How long have you been on the Mounjaro?
And so um the first day I was actually on it was the 28th of March.
Okay.
So it's about I'm on I did 4 weeks at 2.5. I did, and I'm on my second pen, and I'm about to take my third shot from my second pen of the 5. So it was 9 weeks, something like that. So
Yeah. And in the UK, you have a pen. I used to have one sitting here that contains more than one shot, right? You just put a
full.
needle on each shot. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's called a quick pen, and
yeah,
you
that's
just
the one.
oh, Christopher's finding it for me. Here it is. So I've got
That's
one
the one.
here,
Yeah.
and you just put the needle on the end, and you dial your dose. And
Yeah, you sort of prime it first and give it a squeeze and make sure you haven't got air in it, and then you dial it up. It opens up quite long. You'd be surprised,
Mm.
It opens up like that, and then you get into there, and it's great.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess you said you did the 4 shots of the 2.5, and now you're about to take your third shot of the 5 milligram dose?
Of the second pen of my slide.
Second pen second pen of your 5 milligram.
Yeah.
So, what's your weight loss in that? You told me, but tell me again.
Yeah. So
About 20 pounds?
the reason why I say I can this and that is because the particular company that I was with, I mean, it was a fantastic company, absolutely brilliant company. I had to leave for various reasons, but there's a brilliant company, and they supplied you some scales, and they supplied you tape measures to weigh yourself, and they encourage you to weigh yourself every day, and you measure your weight, and you report that every day. But in a past life, I was a professional. I'm a level 4 obesity and diabetes fitness instructor, a specialist. And I had professional scales here. So the day that I decided to do it, I went on the scales. I was 95 kilos. And then by the time the scales turned up 2 days later, whether it was the scales or the fact that I'd already consciously decided to change the way I was eating, when I went on their scales, and to start, I was 94, then 93.8 kilos, I think it was. Erica, I'm doing something, baby. Yeah, so I was that. And then my life has been, I've gone up a little bit today. but my lightest I've been 82.6 kilos.
So let's see, there's 2.2
It's about
pounds
12
per
kilos in
kilogram.
all, yeah. So
Yeah,
it's around 2 stone, which would be like just around 30 pounds.
30 pounds. Yeah. All right. All right.
Yeah.
So that's great. That's great. Uh, what is your, do you have any goals in mind? How much would you like to lose?
So, okay, so look, as I said, like in my past life, I mean, I've done this weight loss thing a long, long time. I was never a child that had weight problem ever. I ate everything, and I never put on anything. You know, to the point where I've heard you speak to other people, and you say, um,
Yeah.
you were heavy as a child, and as a child, you never knew that time to stop eating.
Yeah.
And you put on weight and you think, oh, the skinny people, they could eat and then they stop. I never stopped. I would eat until I was absolutely tight full. I remember when my eldest son was tiny, I was so full, he was crawling around the house like going, leave me alone, mommy can't breathe. And I was so full, you know. Those days, I used to be like 10 and a half stone, 10 and a half stone. Um, and officially, when the reason why I started that story there is officially the goal that officially should get down to would be around the same. However, when I ran my own weight loss company, I got down to 69 kilos, not 64 and 65 kilos, which is about 11 stone. And I looked and my head looked too big for my body. So I'm aiming for 75 kilos. And I know I will look healthy. And officially, it will say that my BMI could be like 25, 26. I've only really got about 5 kilos to go. But I don't want to, I mean, I sent some pictures and I don't want to look that, with that. It's wrong, especially at this age. You know, I'm not in my 20s anymore, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. So like Christopher's doing some calculations to the side over there for me. So
The
I think
pounds.
he's going to be about
That's me
165.
today.
Yeah.
That's me today. And there's another picture of me in a white outfit taken of me taken of me at my 60th birthday party in the same white outfit, and I look horrendous. I didn't
Oh,
know it was that bad. But that's me today.
that's you today.
Yeah.
And
Um,
go back to the white picture, the white outfit.
that white one is me today as well. But if you go through the pictures, that was my 60th birthday party, and my God,
Oh.
oh dear, oh dear.
So was
I
that one of
didn't.
those? Yeah, one of those
That
pictures where you looked at it and went, "Ooh."
well, I didn't actually. I don't think anyone took a picture of such. So it's not like a snap from a video that I took, because I just went through all the pictures. I mean, my journey over the years has gone. I mean, my father-in-law, he says, I've never known anyone go up and down so much, because it
Mm.
literally was thin, 5 children, super thin, sterilization, and my body went, oh, you don't have any more babies. You don't have to be attractive anymore. You know?
Oh,
Then I just
yeah.
started to, and within a very short period of time, 6, 7, 8 years, I'd gone from
Mhm.
like 10 and a half stone, which is, as I said, about 65 kilos, way up to the over hundreds, and just ballooned up. You know, there's a picture of me when I was in New York, 2006, with my profile. My head looks, you know,
Oh, yeah.
I was so shocked, you know. So I've been up and down, up and down.
Yeah, so you were thin, didn't have a weight problem, went through the pregnancies fine, and then it was when you had the hysterectomy, and I
Well, it
guess
wasn't
that's
a hysterectomy.
uh,
I just got the tubes tied. That was it.
got the tubes tied.
I got my tubes tied, but one of the things that happened is I had the tubes tied,
Uh-huh.
and then I started feeling a lot of pain. And I had, they found I had a big off cyst. Sorry, some best way. I had a big cyst on my fallopian tube, so they
Uh-huh.
had to remove that. That
Uh-huh.
made me bed bound for about 5, 6 weeks, and
Uh-huh.
then I was ill again. With it about another year later, I was ill again, and I had another cyst, and I did it again, and that made me put on more weight. And after the
Mm.
second operation, I just slowly just kept going up and up and up and up.
Yeah. Something,
Early, come here. Sorry.
That's okay.
No, stop it.
Something in all that must have triggered the weight gain, right? So,
It's in the family, though. My mother was very thin as a youngster. And her passport to come to England, she's super thin. And by the time she was older, she was a lot fatter. And my sister's the same, again, super skinny.
Mm.
I don't know, she got the weight on when she got sterilized, but yeah, we're like youth, anything going up to 30, super thin, and then you get to 30 and it's like, okay, you know.
Interesting. Yeah, very interesting. And to see that pattern in your family definitely is telling as well. So, so you were talking about you had a weight loss company that you ran?
Well, the story to that is, um, when I married, my first husband died when I was 28,
Oh,
and I had 4 children with him. And
wow.
um, my husband now, we got married in 2003, which I think is the same year you got married, was it?
I think so. Yeah. 22
Yeah,
years.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So David and I married on New Year's Eve, 2003. I was big. I was big, 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 big.
Oh,
I hated my wedding pictures. I
oh,
hated it. And we had a fantastic wedding. We had a fantastic honeymoon. Took these beautiful pictures of us in Barcelona and watching the sun go down. And the next pictures in the line is our house. Because when we flew back to London, they got a notice saying that the house had burnt down. One of the wedding presents that we bought a tumble dryer from Costco, and it burnt our house down. So we had nowhere to live. So
oh
for a
no.
year, my husband and I and the whole family were homeless
Oh no.
because there was other things happening, and it just so happened that a big thing happened beforehand, which left me pretty sort of change. And I defaulted on my insurance, so no house insurance. It had to be a fight for Costco. It took us a year. We had nowhere to live, and we were traveling here and there. And I was living in my office and blah blah blah. And during that time, I put on a lot more weight. I started working for my accountant. And then by then we'd had our compensation money. We were in a lovely house. I was earning good money. I was IT. I'm sitting down all day. I would drink wine every day. And Saturdays I wouldn't drink water. I just drink red wine. And I got faster and faster and faster. And my neighbor came to me one day. She saw me doing some gardening in the garden. And every time I bent down, my top would pop up over my belly. And she came around and she said, Jude, I tell you what, I'm going to come around your house. We're going to go through your wardrobe and we're going to throw away all those big clothes and I'm going to take you shopping. So don't worry about it, Jackie. I'll sort it out. And I found a salsa club. And I decided to go and dance salsa. Jackie came with me for a few times, did it a little bit, and then we stopped. My brother died. And I got depressed and got bigger again. And then we went to New York, and I saw those New York pictures, and that's when I decided I'm going to do something about it. A few years before that, I'd actually gone to France with a friend who had gastric band. And I didn't want to go to Weight Watchers and Jenny Craig and all that sort of stuff. But the gastric band guy instructed me, goes, take her home, make sure she doesn't eat more than this amount of food. She was drinking water and drink lots of fluids and blah, 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 because her tummy is smaller than it was. So I said to myself, I'm going to pretend I'm my friend and I'm going to lose this weight. I'm going to make smaller portions. I'm going to mentally say to myself, I can't eat more than this portion. Imagine I'm on a plane, you can't get a big plate of food. I did that to myself. I don't like the gym, so I started dancing salsa. And I do everything in a big way. So I discovered that salsa was my fitness thing. I went from 1 class a week to 6 classes. And it's not like going to the gym where you do a 45-minute class. You do an hour and a half lesson and maybe 2 to 3 hours social dancing afterwards. So I'd be out for 4 hours a night, 6 days a week, and I lost the weight.
Yeah.
I went from teaching salsa to Zumba. I gave up the IT stuff with the eyeballs away. And then I decided to start studying so that I could get to a certain level. So by the time I got to end of 2013, 2014, I started my own weight loss company called Skinny Chili Healthy Living Club. And what the principle of that was, it was kind of paleo, but not solid. It wasn't about eating only one thing or blah, 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 but it was predominantly protein based. It was eating the things that you like to eat that are healthy, kind of keeping to calories, but not making it a massive deal. So it was instructing people to eliminate sugar and trying to explain to them that if you are going to be in a calorie deficit, it's no point saying you're going to have 1,200 calories if you're going to get to those calories by eating 3 Mars bars. Okay. So explaining to them to do that and helping them to use mindfulness, find different ways to exercise if they were like me and didn't like the gym. So we used to go on adventures. We used to have, I had a fantastic office, a beautiful mansion house in Upshire. We went on adventures, we did golf, we played tennis, we did Zumba, we did aqua Zumba, we did outside gym, we went on, did 5Ks, 10Ks, half marathon. And that the whole purpose of it was to show people that, weight loss can be boring, but it doesn't have to be. Eat healthy, but eat what you like. Keep to a decent calorie amount, keep your portion sizes smaller. Eat slower, which was really important. So I taught a lot of people how to use chopsticks so that they didn't just push their food down. It was pretty successful. It was pretty successful. But I did go a little bit too fast. I decided that, first of all, David and I had sold our other houses and we bought a flat and gave money to our kids. So we had a little flat and hated it. And with the business and the flat, I couldn't handle it. So I moved up here to get a better house. And running back to London all the time to do that, it was just impossible. So I had to close that business and ended up just working up here doing, 5, 6 classes a week. I was actually doing, Laraine, there was a point I was teaching 23 classes a week.
Oh my goodness. Wait, like 3 or 4 a day at least, I guess?
At least. The only day I didn't work was Sundays. Yeah, I teach from some days I'd do a 7 a.m. spin, 10 o'clock Zumba, 1 o'clock Zumba, no, 2 o'clock Zumba, 4 o'clock Zumba, and 2 evening classes. Yeah.
That's crazy. That's a lot. How did you keep going through all that?
Just so there's a no, I do things, I do it big.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's a lot of Zumba. That's a lot of Zumba, for sure.
Yeah, it wasn't just Zumba. I taught Zumba, I taught spin, I taught aqua, I taught salsa.
Yeah, those cardio classes are big calorie burners, right? Yeah.
Love the cardio.
So you had to close the business, and so now are you still teaching classes now?
No. I officially retired just as lockdown came. I was going to retire in August.
Yeah.
And then lockdown came, maybe retire a little bit early. And surprisingly enough, I didn't carry on exercising. I had an allotment. I had 2 allotments. Do you know what allotment is?
No.
Okay, so if you live in a town or the city and you don't have like a great big holding or something, you can go to the council and they'll allot a plot of land to you. You rent a lot of land to grow your own vegetables. So I had 2 allotments that were 70 foot by 40, side by side. So during lockdown, I just worked on that and had all my vegetables. I had my chickens and
wow.
it was cool. So I'm suddenly not unfit anymore.
Oh wow. Well, that's good. Growing your own vegetables, that's rewarding and time consuming and all of those things. So So lockdown came and all that kind of slowed down. You had a kind of a change a little bit. And I guess like, most people in lockdown, here come the pounds, right?
Oh God, did they come? And
Yeah.
my daughter-in-law, she just qualified at the time for PT. So we did an online fitness thing with her then.
Mhm.
But we didn't keep it up. So that
Yeah.
was a shame because I did put on more and more and more and more and more. It was sad.
Yeah.
Thing is that I was at home. I didn't do the banana bread thing. I love to cook. That's one of the things. I love to cook because I love to eat. And when you
Yeah.
cook, no one can tell you how much you can have. And
Right.
you make it taste the way you want it to taste, you know? So
Yeah.
I was cooking bread, I was cooking pies, I was quiche. It was just, oh, it was lovely. Lots of pastries, make my own cookies, shortbread.
All
Oh,
my favorites.
a lot of butter.
Yeah. 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 So what made you decide to let's see, I've kind of gotten lost for a minute. What made you decide to do something about it and start the medication?
Like I said, my blood pressure. So
Blood pressure.
during, I mean, all the years I did all the things I did. When I was very young and had all the children, my blood pressure was ridiculously low. I mean, it wasn't like a
Mm.
low, sad low. It was
Mhm.
110 over 70, even during birth.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Right? It was always perfect.
Yeah.
When I got bigger, obviously it must have gone up, but I didn't really notice it that much because I was still in my
Mm.
40s. And then when
Mhm.
I started to lose weight and I was dancing, I don't know what was going on then. But when I started chili, because I needed to monitor people, I bought a professional SIG,
Blood
and
pressure.
I'd monitor myself. Yeah,
Mhm.
I monitor myself, and it went up to the 140s over early 80s. So by then they started to watch it, and every now and then I'd watch it. And then before lockdown, it was 2018, 19, I started feeling a bit weird. I remember once I'd come off the allotment, got showered, went and done in class, and halfway through the class, I was like, I can't breathe. I'm
Oh,
tired. I'm so
oh,
exhausted. And
oh,
and I thought I would just been overworking because I do. But I think my blood pressure may have been up unstable then because shortly
yeah.
after then I started feeling this feeling in myself. So I went
Oh,
to the doctor
mhm.
and they gave me a 24-hour heart monitor and a blood pressure monitor. They said my blood
Oh,
pressure's going up and they could feel an extra beat going on in my heart. So
mm.
they put me on very light blood pressure pills. And that was okay up until I stopped teaching fitness. And then when I stopped teaching fitness, the blood pressure started to creep. So they just kept adding more pills and higher dose, another higher dose, another higher dose. I started to sweat like mad, Laraine.
Mhm.
I would be lying in my bed with towels behind me, and I'd have to get up in the middle of the night and change the towel. One day before my other dog passed away, I picked him up and I had this shooting pain across my chest and my back. And I went to the hospital and they said, "Oh, you're fine. We just think you're dehydrated." So what I would do is at night, I would drink like a jug of juice. So I was up all night drinking juice, changing the towels, all this sort of stuff. And it just went, and the heart blood pressure kept climbing and climbing and
Yeah.
climbing.
Oh,
Um, and then the beginning of this year, I was convinced that I came off of, I went on HRT, I didn't fit to work. I
yeah.
had this major tooth operation done and the
Mm.
sweating stopped. And I thought, oh, it was a tooth. It was affecting my heart. It's affecting
Uh-huh.
this. But the blood pressure didn't go down.
Oh,
And even up until uh, the beginning of May, I had a very major family incident happen. And my blood pressure reading, I was on Mounjaro still, and my blood pressure reading was 181 over 111,
hmm.
which is serious.
Yeah.
But I went on the Mounjaro to try and regulate this heart thing, get rid of the weight, and get rid of this blood pressure. And I'm telling you, the funniest thing, the day I wrote to you, my blood pressure dropped to 126 over 80. And it's been in the 120s and the 130s and the 80s and the early 90s ever since.
Oh,
So it's
awesome.
Can't even work.
So all you have to do is write to me and no, so I'm sure the weight loss and the Mounjaro and all that, um,
I was going to
you
talk
know,
to you and say, not everybody's blood pressure goes down.
yeah. Well, Christopher has been on blood pressure medication through most of our marriage, and then now after uh, losing his weight, 100 pounds, he cut it in half at one point, and now I think he's completely. You're still in half. You're completely off. Yeah, and now he's completely off of
Yeah.
it. So it does seem to make a difference. So I'm glad that your blood pressure has gotten back down under control. That's great. Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait to talk. I haven't had actually sat down with the doctor yet. It's been like 7 days, another 7, 8 days consistent. And next
Yeah.
week I have a meeting with her and we'll go over it and stuff. Because I've already reduced some of my medication because just before she actually doubled my medication again.
Mm.
And I remember in a video that you did it before with Chris was saying that he started getting lightheaded. And I
Yeah.
couldn't figure out what the lightheadedness was. And it
Yeah.
hit me last Saturday. I went out into the park with the dogs and I literally thought I was drunk. And I said,
Oh,
I'm not taking the evening one again. And I
yeah.
haven't since, and my blood pressure's still low.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. We were moving our daughter out of her dorm room and he's like, I gotta sit down. I'm gonna fall over. Like, and we're like, what is going on? And the blood pressure medicine needed to be adjusted down. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a good call out for anybody out there that might be feeling the same way. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't think I would have identified that if it wasn't for your video. So
Oh, well, I'm
yeah,
glad you were watching.
it clicked. I mean, the other
Yeah.
thing as well about the Downsized is, I mean, I watch a lot of your videos. It really
Thank
is my
you.
comfort.
Oh.
And you were interviewing a woman from New York. I think she was 73 or something. And
Mhm.
she tells the whole story as usual, that everybody says how it changed her life. But one thing that hit me with her was she said that don't quote me, but this is the concept of what she said. She said that she
Yeah.
was due to have a shoulder operation, I think, and
Yeah.
something happened and she couldn't have it. So she delayed it. And then she was on Mounjaro. And then later on, the doctor said, are you ready for that operation? And she went, oh, hang on, my shoulder doesn't hurt anymore.
Uh,
Lorraine, the minute she said
yeah.
that to me, I went, oh my God. I was at physio in no, October, November, and December last year because I had this terrible shoulder and my knee, and they decided that I've got arthritis in my hips. None of these things hurt me anymore. I was, yeah, it was so, it
Yeah.
was amazing. It was
Yeah.
so amazing.
Don't even notice that you're not hurting anymore, right? You didn't even notice that all the
I
pains were
did,
going away.
I did notice that my knees clicking now. Because I think the reason why I dropped I dropped a lot of weight on a 2.5. And I think a
Yeah.
lot of that was inflammation. And because
Inflammation.
the inflammation's gone, it's no longer protecting the arthritic knees. It doesn't cure arthritis,
Mm.
but
Yeah.
the inflammation's gone.
Mhm.
So I go down the stairs, look at it. Oh, it's my shoe.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you about that. That's a maybe ask your doctor about that,
I
but,
know, I know, I know.
but, yeah, arthritis is tough. I know my mom suffers with it in her hands, so, yeah,
Mm.
it's
Well, bless
painful,
her.
right? Yeah. Alright, well, awesome. Well, what else can we, talk about? Do you wanna talk about,
What is that?
side effect yeah.
Yeah, so oh gosh, I had a knee. So on the 2.5,
Mhm.
I mean the efficacy was amazingly quick. But on the 2.5, immediately I got a headache. My
Hmm.
head was buzzing. My head was buzzing. I had this horrible, weird, funky taste in my mouth.
Yeah, a lot of
Just
people
just
say
a
the taste.
funny,
Mhm.
funny taste.
Mhm.
And my mouth felt a bit numb. And
Hmm.
I seriously, I don't care. She wasn't. If I could breathe, I would taking it, right?
Yeah.
And that side effect carried on throughout the whole of 2.5. until
Interesting.
the day I took the 5 and the headache went,
Oh,
which was
interesting.
strange. But that taste in my mouth
Yeah.
changed to a weird thing in my throat, and I still have it. So every time I take an injection, I feel like I've got like I'm gonna just feel like you're gonna get a sore throat.
Yeah,
I
like
get that.
a tickle or
Like
not a
a
lump, but
tickle.
like a
You need a lozenge, you need a
yeah,
lozenge to stuck on. It
yeah.
happens every time I take my injection.
That's
And the
interesting.
constipation.
Oh, yeah. Do you have any good remedies for that?
Not really. Okay, so my training has taught me that apart from forget about Mounjaro, it didn't exist. Well, it wasn't existed in our world when I was trained to do my fitness and training stuff.
Uh-huh.
But in my training, they tell you that if you up your protein, you will have constipation issues.
Uh,
And was during 2.5, I lost a lot of weight and I slowed down. So when I went on to 5, I changed my protein, up my protein. And
mhm.
I use protein shakes and protein drinks and never really increased the solid meat stuff, but I did that.
Yeah.
And one day I went a bit too far.
Oh.
I had 170 grams of protein.
Oh
And
my.
since that day, oh my God,
You got
it's
things
been
a
a bit of
little
a struggle.
backwards. Now, how in the world did you get to 107? That must have been like several protein shakes and uh
I think I had, we were away. We were away. I've got this real big love for fresh, I say fresh tuna, it's frozen, but fresh frozen tuna. So I had like a
mhm.
couple of lunch of tuna in the morning, covered in olive oil and some wine. And I had a protein shake to slim down. And I think we went to lunch and they had this horrible breaded prawn. So I was thinking of another protein shake and maybe a protein coffee. And I can't remember what I had in the evening, but when I topped it up, I went, oh my God, I think I'm going to be all right. Oh my God. It was not
Yeah.
great. Not good.
Yeah. So I guess you were focusing on protein and not getting any fiber,
Wasn't
vegetables.
having any vegetables.
Yeah.
During 2.5, I didn't have the constipation problem. Um,
Mhm.
I used to eat a lot of grapes. I could
Hmm.
get to a big box of grapes in a day. That was my sweetie. I hadn't eaten
Mhm.
sweets in years.
Mhm.
Um, so I thought the grapes for watermelon because it's very fibrous, it's very water based, and it still gives that little tiny sweet kick. And that
Yeah.
was great. But when that particular week when I was focusing on protein, I was away, so no watermelon,
No grapes.
no grape, no. And I don't eat a lot of oranges and stuff because you can only get them sweet at a certain time of the year. I
Yeah.
did have a few berries, but not many. Because we were on holiday and it was self-catering, we were really reliant on restaurant food in the
Mhm.
evening. So you couldn't really get anything unless you asked for a plate of vegetables. So that I didn't have a lot of fiber at all.
Yeah.
So no, it wasn't good. It was not good. And it's a bit better now, but it's still in place.
Well, so let's talk about your diet now. Like what kinds of things, how many grams of do you count grams of protein? Like what are you eating now?
So I'm trying to stay to like 120 maximum a day.
Uh-huh.
And I do have 3 meals a day. But because of the situation, I started having like a brand, like all brand. This is Kellogg, she must have all brands, right?
All brand? Uh-huh.
Yeah. And I'll have that with either some raspberries or some blueberries to sweeten it. And
Yeah.
then I've been on, so I'll have that for breakfast. And then sometimes I might have, excuse me, I might have some smoked mackerel. A lot of my diet is fish based because that time I told you when I lost the big weight the first time, I've
Mhm.
known someone in the past who had the most amazing skin, and she told me she
Mm.
didn't eat meat, she only ate fish. So when
Oh,
I'd made that conscious decision to change the way I only ate fish. I'm back to that again. So
okay.
I ate shellfish. I loved, Lidl do a frozen pack of 4 fresh tuna. That, oh my God, it's gorgeous. So I have tuna, I have haddock. At lunchtime, I might have a little tin of mackerel with some tomato or a little salad or something.
Mhm.
And in the evenings, I sometimes have chicken. I haven't really had an awful lot of red meat since I've been on Mounjaro.
Hmm.
I haven't really had the opportunity to have
Yeah.
really red meat and stuff. It's mainly fish. I don't eat a lot of rice, and I don't really eat rice much for years, to be honest. Ever since I was on my own diet, I know that's a kind of
Yeah.
regular rice thing. But
Yeah.
and I don't eat potatoes really. I don't eat starchy carbs. I don't get frustrated when people say I don't eat carbs. Yeah, I do, because carbs are in virtually everything. What you don't eat
Right.
are
It's
the
hard to get away.
starchy ones, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't tend to eat a lot of. I don't eat pasta and all that kind of stuff. Not unless it's
Gotcha.
a mac and cheese.
What about your water? Yeah, we're both drinking water here. Do you have like a water goal you try to hit every day?
Well, because of the situation,
Yeah, the situation. Water helps that,
because
right? Yeah.
of the situation, I've been pushing to try and find myself above 3 liters a day.
Okay.
So I've got
I gotta
like
convert you.
yeah, I've got like a big water bottle,
Okay.
which I'll do most of that before 9 o'clock after I've weighed myself.
Yeah.
I don't,
Of course. Of
I don't,
course. I'm not drinking water and then weighing myself. No way. No
I
way.
don't even brush my teeth.
Yeah. No. No, no, no.
I have a wee, and then I weigh myself. It used to be in the old day, I go to the toilet and then I weigh myself, but that
Yeah.
doesn't happen anymore. So yeah,
Gotta
so
take what
yeah.
we can get, right?
And as soon as I
Uh,
weigh myself, I'm doing most of that. I tend to in the mornings as well. I'm drinking maybe 500 mils of warm water
mhm.
before I start anything, and then during the day I'm trying to get above 3 liters
Yeah.
because
Well, I know what a
that's
2-liter bottle looks like, so that's a lot.
yeah, yeah. But
Now,
food a day is not much. I mean, this is
warm water.
500. This is 500
Oh,
mil.
gotcha. Oh, so that's probably like
And
12, 16 ounces. Yeah. And then you said warm water in the morning. Why
yeah,
is it warm water?
well, I have this sort of if you have at night, obviously, your body, and I try to eat well before 7, 8 o'clock in the evening. But if I do it later, I want to make sure my body is, my gut's cleared before I start my food for the day. So and
Mhm,
rather than knock back cold water, which a lot of people say is good for your metabolism, I have
mhm.
warm water. I usually put the kettle on, let the water get
Oh,
cooler. And then I drink nice warm water. And for me, it clears it through. And it has helped. It has helped. Especially because exercise has been a bit of a problem.
mm,
I think since constipation, I've been getting a bit gassy, and it's not like I'm burping or anything. I find when I exercise, I get a pain, and
mm.
I had a pain in the top of my chest here. I did speak to the doctor about it. That wouldn't go
Yeah,
away after exercise, and then I had one under my chest here, and
yeah.
we did worry this might have been a heart attack, but I'm convinced it's indigestion now because
Okay,
all my tests are absolutely amazing.
okay.
Um,
Well, I'm
so I
glad you
think
asked your
it's
doctor about that. That
well,
sounds like a definite doctor question. Yeah.
I actually the day that I found that my blood pressure dropped, I'd
Mhm.
called the ambulance. I called
Oh,
111 because it was frightening me. Because what happened was I'd had this pain. The doctor had already got me in for an ECG, which was fine.
mhm.
Um, but he told me keep an eye on it. If I've got any problems, call again.
Oh,
I decided to do some weights and a very mild sort of tummy exercise thing, and the pain came back, and it
hmm,
lasted all day.
mhm.
And then my fancy watch told me that my pulse was fine, and then I
Uh-huh.
took my blood pressure, and it was low, and I thought, it must be okay. My blood pressure's low. It's fine. It's never that
Yeah.
low. It's great. And then I looked it up. Dr. Google. Oh yeah, your blood pressure will go down when your heart fails.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Ambulance, come quickly.
And they're saying, can you breathe? Okay, I'm absolutely fine. I've just been up and down the stairs. It's been fine. But they sent someone down. They did an ECG. You're fine. I explained what I was doing. I was telling them what my heart rate was. All of that was fine.
Mhm.
And they gave me a blood test, and everything was fine. So it must have been indigestion.
Yeah, well, it's good to rule all those things out because yeah, that's kind of scary. And and I do that too. I look stuff up on Google all the time. Me and Dr. Google are diagnosing all kinds of things, and that can be like not a great thing, right? So always check with your doctor. I'm glad you got that checked out. So if you're having pains, go to the emergency room or call your doctor or call nine. Here it's 911. I guess there it's 111,
Well,
111.
111, 999 is the ambulance.
Uh-huh.
111 is like emergency doctor that affected you, and then if they feel it's necessary, they'll send an ambulance. Yeah.
How nice to have national health care that will do that for you. We have to get our own selves to the
The
ER.
national health, the national health. I mean, they didn't get there, they can. When I was having those initial tests earlier on in the decade, they gave me a blood test, and they felt something on about my heart, and apparently they were trying to get through to me and couldn't. 4 o'clock in the morning, bang, press on the door, my husband is got dementia. He's in a care home, and I thought they'd come for him, and I said, "They come for me."
Oh,
I goes, "Why?" They said, "Well, this thing has come up on your blood, and we couldn't get hold of you." I said, "I'm fine." You know?
oh my
And
goodness.
they the ambulance came in, checked me out, and they literally said, "Well, you're feeling fine, so can you get in the car and go down the hospital?" Okay.
Really? 4 a.m.? Really? All right. I guess you went, right? I mean, okay. Yeah, it's bizarre.
It was a bit scary.
Yeah.
Back my dress for it's not him anymore. It comes from me.
Yeah. That that would that that wouldn't happen here. They'd just be like, we can't get a hold of her. Oh well. Hope she's okay.
Oh my God.
They came to check on you. That's wild. That's wild. Um, so Judy, have you made any changes to your wardrobe? Have you gone down any sizes?
So obviously I was thin.
Right.
And then I
Did you
got bigger.
did you
And
keep
I
your
got thinner.
clothes from before?
I
Yeah.
kept all the small clothes because the big clothes, I'm not, I'm 5'8". I used to be 5'10".
Oh.
And in the past life, I used to model. So I had,
Oh wow.
I know myself as a small person. I don't recognize the person that gets big. So
Yeah.
when I got small, I've kept the small clothes.
Yeah.
As I get big, I stop buying clothes, and I'd buy clothes and I'd squeeze into clothes and I'd stretch clothes out, and then I'd throw them. So the only big clothes I got that I still have were when I was going out, because I'd only ever buy clothes if it was an occasion, Christmas, birthdays, wedding. So
Yeah.
everything else that were big, the trash. I did not recognize myself. And the how many years, I've got jumpers that my sons have given me, and they go, "Mum, you still got that?" You know, it's the
Yeah.
small clothes I kept. I've
Yeah.
still got the tiny jeans I used to dance the salsa in. This tiny little thing. Because I was a size 22, Lorraine.
Oh my
And
goodness.
we're four sizes above you. So a size 22 to you would be an 18. Yeah? I went to
Uh,
size 22.
wait, wait, wait,
Yeah.
wait, wait. A size 22, like a
Yeah.
waist size 22.
No, 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 no. A dress size 22 is your 18.
Oh,
Right?
okay.
So
Yeah, or maybe it's the other way around. I think no,
no,
because we're shaking,
your
but
size
yeah, okay.
2, your size 2 is a 6.
Okay.
Right? And our size 8 is a 4. Yeah. So
Okay.
like right now, this top I'm wearing here is a 12. So what's
Well,
that?
that
Your
goes
8?
8.
Your 8?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, I bought some jeans at, Goodwill that are in waist size, right? They're
Mhm.
like Hudson. I think they're from the UK, Hudson jeans, and,
Okay.
Yeah,
Like,
and I was trying to calculate, like, size 28 is what US size and
oh,
size
that's
26.
the weight. That's the waist. That's the waist.
Yeah,
If it was a woman's jeans, it would
yeah,
say, if it was a woman's jeans, it would say an 8, a 10, a
yeah,
12, a 14, a 16,
yeah,
that.
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, so, that's interesting that I mean, you were thin for so long, and you've probably got down so small when you were doing all the salsa things that, that's the person you identify with. That's the person that you are. So you kept all those because that's where you wanna get back
Yeah.
to. Um,
That's nice. You know, people have body dysmorphia where they, like, I've heard you talk about it where you sometimes you can't accept that you can get any smaller clothes. I was
yeah,
the other way. I'd
the
walk
other
past
way.
a window in a shop and I'd go, who's that? Oh my God, that's me.
Mhm.
Wow. You know,
Yeah,
I'd never recognized myself. And in my
yeah.
head, I'd be fine. And someone took a picture, I'd go, oh my God. You
It's
know,
just
it's, you know, it was, I got to the point where I started taking pictures like this because it
oh,
meant that I didn't have to show that my face was fat, you know. It's, you know,
yes. Yeah.
um, but yeah, I've always been, I've got super long arms and I've always been this long, lanky person. I used to get teased as a child. They used to, Caribbean thing is called a mother dog, which is like so skinny, like a skinny old dying dog sort of thing, you know.
Oh,
And then
no.
I went on a fattening diet in the, in the 70s. That those newspapers said, get curvy for Christmas. Oh no, well, for the summer, get bikini curvy.
Yeah.
And I went on this diet where you had to put wheat germ and everything.
Ew.
And my top half stayed quite small, but I had heavy tree trunk legs. It's so funny. But so I've never been the big child. I
Yeah.
just became the big woman.
Yeah. So
So,
trying to get back to, the you have in your mind, right? Trying to get
yeah.
back to that
So I
smaller
never
person.
had. I've got very few. Sorry, I've only got a few big jeans. I used to show people how big I was when I was running Chile. And sadly, this last time I was bigger than them. So
Um,
people used to go, wow, God, this saws me.
what
I
do
don't
your
go on
kids
Facebook
say?
anymore.
What do your kids say about your weight? Anything?
My kids are amazing. They support me whatever I do. They've never gone, Mommy, getting a bit fat. They've never say that. You
Yeah.
know, they were a little bit curious about the Mounjaro,
Uh-huh.
but because Charlie's been on it so long, they're okay about it. And I'm almost like an advocate for it because I've been encouraging other people to go on it now, and I'm trying to encourage other members of family to go on it because it's just
Yeah.
it saves me.
Yeah.
It literally saved my life. And you know, I was watching something you were doing today, and you were talking about I can't remember what moment that Chris was saying it was, but for me, this is like the discovery of insulin for saving people's lives. This is
Saving
like the
people.
discovery of this is like, you know, GLP-1s are like the discovery of penicillin for saving people's lives.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and,
Yeah. I mean, here in the US.
it's the first time in my life I've ever wished I was 10 years younger
Oh,
because you know,
if it had come along
10
earlier.
years younger.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, here in the US, 74% of the US population either has overweight or obesity, right? So it's an epidemic.
Yes,
And these GLP-1s, Mounjaro, Zepbound, Wegovy, Ozempic, are tools that can help treat this disease of obesity, no matter how it came on. If it came on as a kid, if it came on later in life, it really doesn't matter. But we have the tools now to treat it,
yeah,
and it's like it definitely life saving, definitely
yeah.
life saving for so
I
many
mean,
people.
they talk about food noise. I used to call it greediness. I used to be proud to say to people would go, oh, you know, oh, you go up and down, and "Oh, is it all okay?" And I go, I'm just greedy. That's what I'm like, I, I just want to eat. I just love to eat.
Right,
I like to eat. I used to
right.
call it greediness. And especially doing what I'm doing now. I work on long hours. I'm 63 years old and I'm sometimes working 12 hours a day,
Mhm.
screaming dog after dog. And it's hard. And we get to the evening and I want to make something quick to eat. And I just want to eat everything. I'd eat my own foot if I could, I just want to eat something. And that's
Yeah,
gone now. That greedy,
right. That urgency, right?
I
You
don't
don't have that,
know.
I have to eat right now.
No.
Even, I can it's not I totally get that because at dinner time, I used to be like, okay, it's 5 o'clock. We have to eat right now. Like, what's for dinner? I'm starving. If I don't eat soon, I am going to have a panic attack. And now it's
Yeah.
like, oh, I guess it's dinner time. What's for dinner?
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah. I
whatever.
have
Yeah.
this theory. I have this theory that some of us, I mean, everybody's different, but I have this theory that some of us, well, a lot of us have been encouraged to do things like eating for comfort.
Yes,
So
that's
obviously, as a baby, you'll cry, you get fed, or you get a dummy in your mouth, right? I had a dummy till I was 5 years old.
oh,
They took the dummy away. I sucked my thumb till I was 9.
oh,
I used to have eczema and it used to rot my fingers. I like to top thumbs, right? And to get out of it, I put my hand under my head. I still split that actually today. Okay?
no.
I stopped sucking my thumb. You wouldn't believe it, Laraine. And this is the 70s, right? So I sucked my thumb and I started to smoke.
Oh,
I was smoking at 11. So it was that hand to mouth. It's that hand to mouth thing,
oh,
right? To the point where I couldn't
right.
start the car without, I'd get in the car, I'd put the key in the ignition, I'd light up, turn, drive. I couldn't do this. And all the time, and it would actually work with the whole thing because I went from dummy to sun to cigarettes. And when I stopped smoking for certain, after I never smoked through any of my pregnancies, but I'd always
Mhm.
start just after. And when I had my last son, my husband said, um, he said, don't you want a cigarette? I went, no. He went, that's good. And left it. Whereas my first husband used to go, you don't want one, And he never smoked after my last son. And
That's
so if you walk with that correlation, the
yeah,
next thing that happens is I got sterilized and then I took up the food and I put on the weight. So I swapped the dummy, the sun, the cigarette for food in a big, big way.
yeah.
And I fell in love with 2 women, Delia Smith and Nigella Lawson. I cooked everything they cooked. And I loved food. I spent so much money on kitchen equipment. I loved cooking. And that's that comfort. And
It's like,
I find I had it up until Mounjaro, if the doorbell rang, I'd answer the door, I'd come back, I'd go in the kitchen, I'd put something in my mouth. The dogs want to go to the toilet, they scratch the door. I'd get up, I'd open the door, I'd put something in my mouth. It's that comfort thing.
that comfort. Yeah, that's definitely,
Now
a
here in
learned
England,
learned
I'm the
behavior, right?
Germans, and they say, have a cup of tea.
Right.
You're not stressed, have a cup of tea. Oh, you're not being kind of cup of tea. It's a hand mouth comfort.
Yeah. Well, here it's you're upset, have a cookie.
Well, there you go. You cookie and
You're
milk.
you're you're happy, hooray, let's have a cake. You're
Or
sad,
just a
oh, let's eat
drink.
some ice cream. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Besides, get some ice cream. Yeah, it's the
yeah.
same thing.
Yeah, I grew up, happy, sad, whatever. I just everything made me wanna eat. So it was definitely comforting, uh, to
Yeah,
have that,
I haven't
those
got that anymore.
yeah. Yeah, now I feel like I don't know if this is the same for you, but those fun foods, the ice cream, the candy, the cookies, the cake, don't give me the sugar rush they used to. Like, they don't taste sweet. They taste good, but I can, have some and then leave the rest. I don't have to
I've got
finish
to,
the whole
I've got to confess, I've only had one piece of cake since I started. I know it's only a few weeks. It's not like I've done it for years.
yeah.
But I'm a cake eater. I'm a cake baker. Right?
Oh, cake baker.
I was the kind of person would never go, oh, I fancy a cake and go down the shop to buy it. I just make one. You know,
Oh,
that's how I am. And I haven't had the desire to have
yeah,
cake. So I'm not
yeah.
sure if the control is that strong that I wouldn't eat the cake, because that was one of my things. The Caribbeans, we made a special rum cake at Christmas, and
Mhm.
I'm pretty bloody good at it. But children these days don't like raisins and that kind of stuff. They don't want it. They just want a sponge cake. So I'd make it, and love making it roughly for myself. And I'd make a small one, and they'd have a bit, and then it was there. And I'd go past it, and I'd just have a little bit. I would another little bit. And I'll turn around, the cake's gone. And even though if you weighed that cake, it might only weigh maybe 3 or 4 pounds. I'm guaranteeing you next week I'm going to stone. I tell you what, it's ridiculous. So I stopped making them.
Yeah.
I made a Christmas cake for years because of it.
What part of the Caribbean are you from?
I was born here. I was born in England. I was born in London. But my parents come from Antigua, which is a little town. Yeah.
Nice.
I went there once, didn't like it. I was 16 and in love with London, and it wasn't like London. Yeah. I'd love to go there now, but I'm not one to travel. I don't like traveling very much. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. I was just, we've been on some cruises around, and we go to Nassau a lot, and we went to a factory that made like a rum cake, and I was wondering if that was similar to maybe what you were making.
It probably was, but I'll tell you, there's a picture of me where I was when one of the first winners of the Prince Charles Trust in front of food, because that's how long food's been my thing. I ran a business called Ebony Bells, and that was a Caribbean catering company for weddings. And my first mother-in-law, she taught me how to make it the Dominican way. And it was just so luscious. And I've always made my cakes like that because of her. And if I'm honest, there's very few people whose cake I enjoyed like hers, my mother's, or my own.
Yeah.
So sometimes I think they're a bit dry, but ours was moist, rum, and you know, and my mother-in-law, you for a wedding, she'd make like a 3-tier one, and you always kept the top tier for a year. You'd wrap it in foil, and you'd have it for your first anniversary, and it would taste even better because it's God.
Yeah, we do that here with wedding cake, and freeze the top tier and take it out a year later, and it's not good. It's just regular cake.
Yeah, no, this cake had so much rum in it, you mustn't freeze it. It wouldn't freeze anyway because it's too much alcohol.
That's funny. That's funny. Well, Judy, it's been great talking with you today. Thanks for taking the time to talk with us on the Downsized Dish. If you'd like to be on the Downsized Dish, send me an email to Laraine@thedownsized.org. I'll send you a link to our calendar and get you all set up. It's just that easy, right, Judy?
It sure is.
It is.
You guys, you've done amazing. I can't think I'd get through the day without watching one of your videos.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. We appreciate it. We hope everyone out there will like and subscribe to The Downsize. We put up videos every day, so check them out and see what we're doing. Thanks for tuning in. My name's Laraine Durham for The Downsize. We'll see you next time. Thanks, Judy. Bye. Bye. Thank you.